I am frustrated by the federal government. I'm frustrated by my municipal government, and I'm delighted with my provincial government. That's just the lineup of things. And I don't like that. Let's just go to the first one. Politicians who travel. Politicians who travel. I'm going to be really blunt. I just don't care. People talk about them being influencers. I'm not influenced by the travel plans of a single politician in the world. None. And the fact that there was 20 out of maybe 2,000, 3,000 politicians that went traveling, and we had this focus, this mainstream media focus, and of course the online haters, the guys living, the trolls, the basement dwellers, the keyboard kings, were just furiously attacking the odd politician who went traveling. Again, because they're influencers. Well, they're not influencers. And in fact, I doubt that any single person on this list, without Googling, could name 3 politicians who went traveling. Maybe 2, maybe 1. Nobody cares. But here we were as a community diving into the fact that a handful of people went traveling when they probably shouldn't have. And did they apologize? Yes. But cancel culture says an apology is not enough. You have to line up at the guillotine and chop your head and you're done. Your career's over, your business is over, all that stuff. So enough of cancel culture. I'm tired of that too. But going back, I think we should have from day one stayed focused on the 2 things that matter relative to getting going. 1, protect the elderly and the infirm. 80% of those who died were in old folks' homes. Had we done a better job of protecting them, an awful lot of people would still be alive today. They were elderly. They had comorbidity, they had other issues challenging them, but the tipping point, the straw that broke the camel's back, literally, was COVID. So I get that, but we could have done a better job with the elderly. And then 2, the complete gong show, the great lie that we have on vaccines, the talk that we had hundreds of millions of vaccines ordered so that we'd have enough to give to the rest of the world. We're now 50th, give or take, in the world in terms of the penetration of vaccines into our population. So we've completely screwed that up. And again, without finger pointing, we have completely screwed that up. And I just throw that out there to anyone who took time to rattle the cage on the traveling politicians in contrast to the issues that really mattered. And the issues that mattered were, are we going to get vaccines rolled out? And now, of course, we've got the 2 camps. Some groups say, I want the vaccine and I want it right now. And then there's people who say, I'm never going to have a vaccine. Now, those who say they're never going to have a vaccine, I happen to be in the camp that says, maybe we provide some benefits to those who get vaccinated. Like Qantas Airlines said, we're only going to allow people to travel who've been vaccinated. Or hockey games, or concerts, or large gatherings of people. We're all going to feel a lot more comfortable if we're in the company of people who've been vaccinated. And anyone who says, well, that's nonsense, it's an infringement on my personal rights, well, you probably wear your seatbelt. I accept that that's an infringement on your personal rights, but it's done for the betterment of community. And secondly, when I travel in Southeast Asia, I often have to show that I've had the yellow fever vaccine. And by the way, I've had every vaccine imaginable for third world travel because I go to the third world, whether it's adventure or visiting the slums of Port-au-Prince and Haiti and other places in the world. But I'm vaccinated and heavily vaccinated, completely vaccinated, never had a problem. So I'm not in the anti-vax crowd. I'm not in the anti-mask crowd. By the way, I'm not convinced that masks do everything they say they do, because you can see media and medical professionals on either side of that argument. But you know what? I have to wear a mask when I go to a coffee shop, go get groceries, and go to a restaurant. I probably wear a mask for 5 to 7 minutes a day. I don't have any problem with that. So the anti-mask crowd, I hear you, but I'm not buying the complaint. And again, the odd person has a medical exemption. Well, maybe you should think about how you get your services supplied. So that's just that's a rant. I'm struggling with lockdowns, but again, I don't have better information. And this is where I criticize the medical profession. Because the medical profession, I can Google and find someone with a degree, a medical degree doctor, on either side of every argument. Should we mask? Should we wash our hands? Should we keep our distance? Is the right distance 6 feet, or is it 6 feet and at least 15 minutes together before you're considered in close contact? Should you sign up for the contact tracing app? There's a whole bunch of issues that are embedded in all this. I happen to believe that washing your hands and keeping your distance are key to all of this. And we've been very, very successful in the restaurants that I own at keeping those open and operating. So again, big picture, complete fail on vaccines, and the mathematics is clear, complete fail in protecting the elderly and the infirm.
What did you like you said, if I followed you, Brett, on the provincial side, you said you were quite pleased. I presume, by the way, you're in Calgary, so I presume you're referring to the Alberta provincial government. What did you like about their actions?
Well, just for clarity, my business interests are spread across Alberta, Saskatchewan, BC, and Nashville, Tennessee. But ignore Nashville. Alberta, BC, and Saskatchewan. So I do monitor and follow because I am very active as an employer and an investor in all those provinces. And what I liked was the fact that they adapted to rolling out the vaccines into, obviously, frontline healthcare workers in particular, and the elderly. They ran out of vaccines, but they got ready. They got ready faster than anyone thought possible. So it's the lack of vaccines that's missing. And then I still press our local government and Saskatchewan recently on how are we going to ensure that the people rolling in and out the door, the front door of the seniors' homes, are properly taken care of. Because the reason that seniors got sick was that it was brought into the home.
Yeah.
And, seniors are in lockdown. They can't leave. So they didn't source it. They didn't bring it. They didn't start it. It was clearly the people looking after them. And we needed to do a better job of protecting them. So clearly, vaccines in the front line to protect the elderly, and of course, vaccines for the elderly. So there's a rant. I mean, there's views on everything.
Yeah, well, that's what we're here for, Brett. So we appreciate that. By the way, the good news in Ottawa is most of the seniors' homes now have been vaccinated. So most of the residents there. So long-term care and retirement villages. So that's good news on that front.